Hey guys, this is Editing Jesse. For some reason my camera had an issue, so it deleted the intro of the video. But I'm Jesse from Jesse's Garage and Adventures, and I am going to be going over the unboxing and then the first couple welds and a little bit of use of the Sefaspe MIG 250D. So let's go ahead and get on to it. I will put the timestamps in the video and let me know what you guys think. Alright, catch you later. Bye. I like the little MIG welder from Sefaspe so much that I went ahead and got this. This one is a multi-process machine. It should do flux core, gas welding, aluminum welding. I don't have the spool gun for aluminum welding, but let's go ahead and get it all open. I'm gonna spread it all out, show you what's in the box, and then we will jump over to some welding videos. And let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so this is what it looks like. I'll go over all the contents that came in the box. He's being very dramatic. But yeah, so this is a 250. This one works on 220 only. It does not have a 120 adapter. It says here input 220. I don't know if I were to use one of my own adapters, whether it would work or not. Not sure on that bit. But we're just going to use it on 220. We open it up here. It comes set up for what appears to be solid wire. Yep, it's not knurled. It's got a little image here kind of depicting how you set it all up. This unit, like I said, you can buy additional accessories and it can do TIG. It can do arc welding, which it does come with the arc welding clamp. You can do spool gun. It's got some other options. So on the front here, it's got the, I think they call this Euro style. Yeah, I don't have, this is the first unit that I've ever had that uses this style connector. I think it's neat, but we'll try it out. The screen, you got two knobs here. They don't have end stops. They just continually spin, which is nice because if somebody, cranks it, they're not going to break it. You got your positive and negative, and this is for a TIG input. He's looking like he wants to be part of the video. All right. So let's go over everything else that comes with it. Right here is your knurled roller. See if it'll zoom in. Not zoom in, but focus. Yeah, I guess it won't. Okay, oh well. Knurled, believe me. You got your 09 and your 08. So this side here is 030. This side's 035. You've got a user manual and a quick start guide. Just, normal stuff. We'll go over the actual use of it later. It also includes a little tool here to remove the tips. These guys, this is the second one that they've sent like this. Their tips don't just screw on and off, which is a little weird to me. And they're like press fit. It's got like this threaded thing in here. I'm still getting used to it. It works. I guess no threads to mess up. What I will say about it is if you spin this like left like you normally would, it will lock up. So I don't know what to say about that, but it's definitely a thing. So they include a gas hose, which is pretty convenient. Obviously not a regulator. You'll have to provide your own regulator. And then we've got our arc welding electrode holder, as well as a ground. These seem much beefier than with their little MIG welder. That makes sense. It's a much heavier duty unit. And then let's get over to actually just holding this thing. It feels nice. It's a little bulky, but it's not that bad. This does have like a joint built in here, so it can flex a little bit, but it feels good. I'm kind of excited to use it. I need to get my gas bottles filled before I can use it. Right now my gas bottles are empty. I may just load up some Flux Core and test it out on that. And then, normal stuff here. This is your gas in. You got a fan. Here's some of your specs. So I'm sure someone else can correct me here, but it's looking to me like this is 100% duty cycle at 140 amps or 60% at 180. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty neat to me. Let's see about with the arc welding. We're looking at 60% at 160, 100% at 120. I've never had to arc weld at 120 amps. That's a lot. But I don't do a lot of arc welding in general, so I'm sure I can learn a lot. So now that we've gone through like my initial impressions, unboxing, getting a feel for everything, let's go ahead and jump on over to doing some actual welding with it. We'll get it set up. We'll at least do some flux core welding, probably some gas shielded, and a little bit of arc welding. As I've said before, I'm no expert welder in general, but I'm definitely not an expert at arc welding. I can make things stick together, but that's about it. I know I have a project on one of my bumpers where I welded another bar on there to mount some more lights, but I need to reinforce the bar because while going down the road, the lights just kind of wiggle. So I'm thinking this will be the perfect machine for that. So let's get on to it. Alright guys, we are in the garage. It's super hot, so if I'm a little short, please be understanding. We're going to go ahead and try and use the Sefaspe welder. So I am first going to use it with flux core welding. So I've got the ground electrode to positive and then the machine set to negative, which will, when we screw this in, will turn us into negative electrode. So let's go ahead and grab the connector here. As I mentioned earlier, it's got this Euro style. This should be pretty simple to install. We will just line the big hole up, line the other three, goes right in. You've got some threads here. Bear with me, I picked up a piece of metal earlier when I was just chopping up some pieces of metal to try and weld, and I burned the crap out of my hand. So I'm a little gimpy right now, but let's go ahead and get this on. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open it up and then load in our flux core. As I said, you can see here, MIG self-shielded is electrode ground, or ground positive, I guess is the best way to say it, electrode negative. Alright, so since the flux core that I'm using, this little spool, isn't big enough for this, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and just put it on the shaft. I just realized I put this on backwards. Let's flip it. Okay, so since we're going to be starting out with flux core, we want to set this up with the knurled roller. I'm pretty sure the knurled one is down here. Let's take a look. Yep, this is smooth. We're going to go ahead and hop over to the knurled one. So for this one, we're using 030, which would be 008. So let's make sure that that's all lined up. Be careful to hold this flux core, because if you don't, it'll pop off, and it's just very frustrating. What we're going to do is go ahead and pop this off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on, and I will show you guys how to select flux core, and then we'll go ahead and run it up in here and set the gun and set our spool tension. Alright, so 2T is normal welding. 4T means when you hit the trigger, it'll continue welding until you hit the trigger again. We're just going to stick with normal 2T where you hold down the trigger and it welds. So we should be able to just hit this. I'm going to unscrew this again. And it will just push through. Oh yeah, it's running. Oh, there we go. So it seems like my tension's already decent. So we'll just cut this extra bit off and we'll be ready to weld. So we'll go ahead and get some PPE on and get set up. Okay, so we're just going to start out on this garbage and just try and get some feeds laid and start to understand how this welder welds. I have the machine grounded to the table, so let's hope that this all works. Okay, so first of all, we're really low on voltage, so let's turn this up a bit. So the voltage and the wire speed seem to be connected together. So let's turn it up to 17, see where we get. It seems to weld all right on 20, or 17, I'm sorry. So something that I neglected to say earlier is that this is a synergistic system, and that means that it will automatically adjust the speed and or voltage, mainly speed, based on what it thinks it needs. And overall it does work pretty well once you get it close. So that was a straight pull, no weaving. I feel like that's better to do for this. Alright, so I've tacked this together. Let's try and run a bead down it. Alright, so that's what it looks like before we clean it. That's what it looks like afterwards. We just did that weld. It looks great, honestly. Let's go to 17.5. That was definitely too hot, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Still decent looking weld, but I could just tell by the way it was welding it was too hot. I didn't like it. Alright, I don't want to bore you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and just say that I welded a bunch more little pieces, and then I hopped over to some pipe, so we'll show you guys the pipe. So unfortunately, it was very hot outside and my camera ended up overheating, so I had to turn a fan on, which makes a bunch of fan noise. So I'm trying to delete some of the noise for you guys. Nice little welds. That looks great. Let's continue to round us out, then we'll switch over to solid core and gas shielded. Yeah, it looks great. Overall, I'm super happy with the Flux Core. I'll be honest with you guys. Years ago, I wouldn't touch Flux Core welding, but I'm starting to get a lot more comfortable with it, and I'm starting to prefer it. But we'll go ahead and switch over to the gas shielding and get started. You know, I just wanted to say that I might have already said that I used Harbor Freight Flux Core. That was not Harbor Freight. That was Forney. This is my Harbor Freight stuff. I have not yet broken into all this. We're going to go with the Harbor Freight 030 solid wire, which will require us to switch that to the smooth roller, and then we'll get this loaded up. Gotta love that. Bad words, guys. Bad words. Oh, goodness. Alright, we're gonna spin this out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over to, well, we'll go through the settings real fast. This is stick welding. This is Lift-TIG. I don't have the stuff for Lift-TIG. We've got MIG Mag, which from what I understand is your just pure CO2 welding. MIG Mix, which is what I'm going to do. Flux, and then spool gun. I don't have a spool gun. I might have to buy one though, because spool gun welding would be cool. So we're going to go with MIG Mix, and then when I tap this, I'll turn my gas on. Gas is set a little high right now. Alright, we got our gas set around 20. Alright, we're going to go ahead and just try some different settings. Something I don't know if I mentioned earlier is this button actually does change stuff. I don't know what it is. It's a percentage. I should probably read to figure out what that stuff actually means. Alright guys, learn from me being an idiot and make sure that these are in the correct settings. Because I've been fighting this for the last 20 minutes. Never switched this over. Watch this start welding a lot better. Mainly, I was having an issue where all of the welds would just bead up on top of the metal. We'll see if this increases it. Yep, that's instantly better. This don't eat the greatest penetration, so what we're going to do is turn down the wire speed and the voltage. There we go. So that's with a circle weave. It's a nice looking weld. Yeah, it's a lot better now. Just make sure your ground's the right setting. So much better. We're just going to lay some welds across the side now. So that's a straight pull, and it puddles a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to weave, and then that should bring it down. Yep. So with a little bit of weave, it brings it down. It also looks better, but yeah. Yep, with some heat, it's really nice. They could be a little more penetration, so what I'm going to do, just to test this, is I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So we're keeping the wire speed the same, we just turn the voltage up. So through messing with this whole unit, I found out that when you press that and you turn it to 5%, it increases the voltage by 5% or 10%, etc., to whatever you set it at. Yeah, that's a lot more what I prefer. It's a lot more flat. Yeah, I'm liking that. So we're going to go ahead and turn this back down. Going down to 16.5. Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, that's what I like to see right there. Obviously, for something this thick, you want to bevel it before you weld it like this. I'm just welding crap. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the arc welding setting. We're going to have to play with some of the settings here, but we're going to try it out. That's got to be way too hot. Yeah, that's way too hot. 200 amps. Huh. Let's try that at 75 amps. Turn it down a little bit more. 70. Run down to 60. Once again, guys, I'm by no means an arc welder. I can just kind of do it. So we're blowing through. Let's turn it down to 55. So something, I'm going to give you guys some criticism, is this should have some better defined lines on where the rod wants to live. There's a couple, but they're not really defined. No, it's pretty decent. Like I said, I'm not, by no means, an arc welder. So that was my arc weld. As I will be the first to admit, I'm not very good at this, but I mean, it's stuck together. If you know, I don't think anyone's calling me to weld on pipelines, but I can definitely stick stuff together. So I mean, overall, seems to weld pretty good. Okay, I just wanted to hop on and give you some of my closing thoughts. I think for a $200 welder, this thing offers a great value. It did not have any hiccups with me. Obviously, I'm a sample size of 1, so I cannot tell you how long this thing's going to last. You know, it could last you couple years, could last you for the rest of your life. I really don't know. What I do know is every little inverter welder that I have put my hands on, I've liked. I have not had a dud yet. Um, maybe that could change with testing some of the cheaper ones. I know this exact welder is $199 on Amazon as we speak and as the time of uploading the video. So with that being said, I think it's a great buy. Um, I would love to see some more accessories come with it, maybe some more consumables, things like that. But overall, I still think it's a good deal. I really want to get my hands on a spool machine. I've been considering building my little motorcycle trailer into like a bigger aluminum flatbed, and I think the spool welder would be great for that. That may be a future video. So if you guys like this, please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts below. Tell me what I did wrong. I'm definitely not an expert welder. I'm always open to legitimate criticism. If you're just here to talk crap, go somewhere else. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching, and please have a good day. Thanks. Bye.